Yarrney.
Hello, welcome back to Yarrney. In this tutorial, you will learn how to make this nice 3D letter B. This is a very easy project suitable for beginners. The only stitches you will need to know to make this is basically the slip knot and chain, the single crochet, the increase technique, and the decrease technique. If you're unfamiliar with any of these stitches and techniques, we do have very slow and detailed tutorials on the Yarrney channel that you can look. Otherwise, I will make sure to do each of these stitches and techniques slowly at least once in this video so you can follow along. In terms of materials needed, I'm using this Big Twist Posh yarn. It's in the bulky size. And then I have a crochet hook. I'm using the 5.5mm crochet hook. Then some scissors to cut your yarn, and then some yarn needle at the end just to sew in the ends. So the way to make this 3D letter B, we will basically crochet a flat letter B like this, and then we will make 2 of these. Then we will join all the edges together with single crochets with a little bit of stuffing in between. And this letter B, so how it's worked in 3 parts. What I mean by this is that the first part, we're going to crochet the bottom section. So we're starting from here, moving all the way up until here. So this section here will be the first part. Then we will continue on this portion here from the second part, moving up, going all the way here to here. So this portion here will be the second part. And then lastly, we will do this third part from here all the way until the end like this. Our starting point will be a foundation chain. So to do that, we need to do a slip knot. So take the tail end of your yarn, wrap it around your index finger like this, bring the tail end on top of the working yarn like this. Now you take the working yarn, wrap it around your finger, and then you have your yarn like this. Bring the back loop forward, and then you have your slip knot. So take your crochet hook, insert it in this little loop here, tighten your slip knot, and then we're ready to do our foundation chain. So the foundation chain is going to be 20 chains. So to do the chain, you wrap the yarn around your hook like this, and then you pull the yarn with your hook through the loop here on the hook. So this is your first chain like this, and then we do 20 in total. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So once you have your 20 chains, this is our foundation where we will build more stitches on. So now for row number 1, what you're going to do in the first stitch is basically the increase. And when I say first stitch, I mean that we will start from the second chain from the hook. So this loop on the hook here does not count as a stitch. So you're going to see basically each stitch is a 2-leg formed looking like a V. So your first chain here from the hook is this one that you will be skipping, and then the second chain from the hook will be this one here. So in the second chain from the hook is where you will insert your increase. So the increase, what you're going to do is insert a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So the single crochet is basically, let me demonstrate this quickly. So insert your hook in the second chain from the hook, wrap the yarn around your hook, pull it back through this chain. You have 2 loops on your hook, and then you wrap the yarn around your hook, pull it through the 2 loops. So this is your first single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Now you will do another single crochet in this exact same chain that you just did the single crochet. So this is an increase, basically 2 stitch in 1 stitch. So after this increase is done, what we're going to do is 18 single crochet. So 1 single crochet in each chain all the way until the end. So again, demonstrating the single crochet, insert your hook in the next chain, wrap the yarn around your hook to pull it back through this chain. You have 2 loops on your hook, wrap the yarn around your hook, pull it through both loops. So I have 1 single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So this is our first row completed. And we will keep adding on more rows to build the letter B. In between each row, what you want to do is one chain. So it's your turning chain. So wrap the yarn around your hook, pull it through the loop on your hook. So this way we can turn our project around. So we can always work from the right to the left. So don't forget your turning chain in between each row. So now for row number 2, it's quite straightforward. What you're going to do is 19 single crochet, and then we will do an increase at the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So after this 19th single crochet here, you will have one last stitch at the end of your row that's unworked on. So in this last stitch, we will do an increase. This means we're doing 2 single crochet in this last stitch. So 1 single crochet in the last stitch, then a second single crochet in this exact same stitch. So this is our increase. Now moving on to row 3, chain 1, your turning chain, turn your project around. Then at this start here, we're going to do an increase. So 2 single crochet in the same stitch. So 1 single crochet in this first stitch, and then another single crochet in this exact stitch. So we have our increase. By doing this, what it's going to do is basically creates this rounder edge here when you do increases. So after you've done your increase, we're going to do in the entire row of 20 single crochet all the way until the end. So you should have basically 20 stitches to work on. So 1 single crochet in each stitch. So go ahead and do 20 single crochet, and I'll meet you at the end right here. All right, so I'm now completing my 20th single crochet at the end of round 3 here. And before moving on to round 4, remember chain 1, turn your project around. For round 4, we're going to do 21 single crochet, and then at the very last stitch we're going to do an increase. So 21 single crochet. So make sure you count your single crochets here, do 21, and I'll meet you before we do the last stitch. All right, so I'm doing my 21st single crochet here right before that last stitch, right here. So this very last stitch is going to be a increase again. So 2 single crochet in the exact same stitch. So make sure you insert 2 single crochet in this last stitch. So I just did my 1 and I'll insert a second in the exact same stitch. Okay, so after we're done with this, chain 1, then turn your project around, and what we're going to do now is 1 increase at this first stitch here, so 2 single crochet in this first stitch. So 1 and then 2 in the exact same stitch. So this is your increase here. Then you should have 22 stitches remaining on this row here to work on, so each stitch is going to be single crochet. So make sure you count your stitch, do 22 single crochet for the remaining of the row. So go ahead and I'll meet you at the end of this row. All right, so I'm at my last row of this, last stitch of this row here, the 22 single crochet. Now we're basically done with row number 5, and then chain 1 in between each row here, turn your project around. Now for row 6 and 7, it's very easy. So for each row, you will simply do 1 single crochet in each stitch, and you should have 24 single crochet in each row. So this will be for row 6 and 7. So go ahead and do 24 single crochet in row 6, and then chain 1, turn your project around, then do 24 single crochet again, and then I will meet you back at the end of row 7. Now I'm at the end of my row 7 here, doing my last single crochet of the row. So basically when I left you at row 5, we were at this location, so you did 24 single crochet all the way here, you chained 1, you turned your project around, you did 24 single crochet all the way back. So now we're going to do row 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 are the same thing. We're doing 8 single crochet in each rows, and what's happening is that we've completed basically this section here, and now what we're going to do is just to work our rows up for the smaller portion here all the way to here. So for row 8, you chain 1 just like in between each and every row, turn your project around and do 8 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is your row 8. You stop at 8 single crochet. Now to do 9, you chain 1, turn your project around, do 8 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this was end of row 9. So basically we just keep doing this for row 10, 11, and 12. Chain 1, turn your project around, do 8 single crochet for row 10, then chain 1, turn your project around, do 8 single crochet for row 11, then chain 1, turn your project around, do 8 single crochet for row 12. So go ahead and do that, 8 single crochet in each of row 10, 11, and 12. with 1 chain in between each row, and I'll meet you here at the end of row 12. So I'm at my last single crochet of row number 12 here. So after you're done with that last stitch, now go ahead and take your scissors, just cut your yarn, and then pull the hook like this with your yarn. So this will secure your stitch. So this first part here is done. So we just completed the bottom portion of the bee here. And now we're going to start at this section here, moving all the way up to here. So for part 2, you have this bottom section that you just completed. So this is, I will call this the right side of the project, since this is the bottom portion of our bee here. What we want to do now is just turn your project around so this longer piece here is faced towards the left. Now what you're going to do is from this left end here, you will count 11 stitches. So 1 stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Insert your hook under the 11th stitch here, like this, and you will go take your yarn, and I will just hold the yarn with my fingers like this on the hook and pull the yarn with your hook through that stitch, like this. So I will act like this is a little stitch here, and I will make sure I hold this other piece of yarn with my finger, the other side, and I will do my first stitch of the row. So the first stitch of the row is going to be a decrease. So what a decrease does is merging 2 stitches into 1. So what you are going to do is insert your hook under the next stitch. Make sure you hold on to the yarn here so that it's not loose. Wrap the yarn around your hook, pull it back through the stitch, but not on the loop, okay? So you should have 2 loops here. Now insert your hook in the next stitch, wrap the yarn around your hook, pull it back through the stitch. Now you see you have 3 loops on your hook. Wrap the yarn around your hook, pull it through all 3 loops. So this is your decrease stitch. Now after you've done that, we're going to do 8 single crochet. So 1, oops, all right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is first row of part 2. Before we move on to row 2, I just want to bring your attention to this part here. So what I like to do is insert my hook not in the stitch where this yarn is coming from, but the next one next to it. So I can pull the yarn back like this. And then I also like to do a little knot. So in the following stitch here, I will create a little, kind of a little loop with my fingers here, and then pull the yarn like this with your fingers. Make sure there is a loop here, so your yarn is coming out the other way. Now from this portion here where the loop is, bring the yarn back on the other side, and your yarn should come out in the middle here. So just insert it in the loop and just pull to make a little knot here. So now that this side is secure, we will move on to row 2 of part 2. So chain 1, just like we usually do in between each row, turn your project around. We will do 7 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then your last stitch of this row 2 here is going to be a decrease. So we're merging 2 stitches into 1. insert your hook in the next stitch, pull the yarn back, insert your hook in the following stitch, pull the yarn back. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Wrap the yarn around your hook, pull it through all 3 loops. Now this is the end of row 2. Chain 1, turn your project around. So for row 3 and 4, very easy. We're doing 8 single crochet in each row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Chain 1, this is your row 3, turn your project around. Row 4 again, 8 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, now you would chain 1, turn your project around, and then we will start with an increase. So 2 single crochet in the same stitch. So 1 and 2. Then in the next 5 stitches, we will do a single crochet in each stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you should have 2 stitches at the end of the row 5 here. We will do a decrease. So merging these 2 stitches together. So this is our decrease stitch. Once we're done that, chain 1, turn the project around. You will do a decrease as the first stitch here, so merging the 2 stitches, the first 2 stitches together. Once you've done that, 5 single crochet. So after the 5 single crochet, we're going to do an increase in this last stitch of this portion here. So 2 single crochet in the exact same stitch. And the next step is basically we're going to try to merge this portion to here. And how do we do that? Is by doing 6 chain. So do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 chain. After your 6 chain is done, the length of the 6 chain will arrive at this portion here. And then basically we're going to work the next stitches will be single crochet, 8 single crochet in each of the stitches of this left portion here. So this way we're merging the 2 sides together. So 1 single crochet, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is the end of our row 6 here. What we're going to do next, chain 1, turn your project around. So we're going to do 20 single crochet in row 7 and end it with a decrease at the last stitch. So 20 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now be careful here. The next 6 stitches are worked on this chain here. So make sure you work 1 single crochet in each of the chain. You should have 6 single crochet coming out of the chain. So single crochet on my first chain, single crochet on my second chain, single crochet on my third chain, and then 4th chain, 5th chain, and my 6th chain here. So remember here, this portion here, we did 8 single crochet, then 6 on the chains here. So we have 14 single crochet in total. Now we continue doing single crochet here until we reach 20 single crochet. So my 15th, 16th, 17, 18, 19, and 20 single crochet in total. Now you have 2 stitches left at the end of this row. Merge them together to do a decrease. So this is our last stitch of the row, a decrease. So after we've done this, chain 1, turn your project around. First stitch will be a decrease. Like this. Then for the rest of the row here, it's going to be single crochet in each stitch. You should have a 19 single crochet. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. All right, now next, chain 1, turn your project around. For the next row, we're going to do 18 single crochet on the row here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So you will note that at the end here, you have 2 stitches that are unworked, which is fine because what happens is that we're basically at this section here. So we don't want to work the entire row just to have this little crease effect here. So now we move on to the next row. What you're going to do is chain 1, turn your project around, and your first stitch of the row is going to be an increase. So 2 single crochet in the exact same stitch. So 1 and 2. Then you will move all the way back with 17 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3. So go ahead and work this single crochet on this entire row, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. So I'm at the end of the row here with my last single crochet. So this is basically row 10 of our part 2. And now it's pretty easy. If I show you the letter B here, we've done this part here, and what we're going to do is build this smaller portion here, just like we did here basically. And then that would be the end of part 2 very shortly. So chain 1, turn your project around, and now for row 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, it's 8 single crochet in each row. So this is row 11 with 8 single crochet. Three single crochet, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So just like we did here, you will stop, you will chain 1, turn your project around, and build it up with 8 single crochet in each row. So we just done 11, so you're working on 12. So go ahead and do 8 single crochet in each of the row 12, 13, 14, and 15. And then I'll meet you back here at the end of row 15. Don't forget to do chain 1 in between each row to turn your project around. I'm at my last single crochet of row 15 here. Once you're done with that, just cut your yarn and pull the yarn like this, and we're basically done with part 2 here. So now that part 2 is done, we will work on part 3. Part 3 is basically working this little area here up all the way until the end here. So this is the right side of my project for the letter B. Turn the project around like this so that the belly here is facing the left. And now we're going to start from this row here, just like we did here basically. So what you want to do here is count 10 stitches from the left here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So insert your hook under the 10th stitch like this. Now take your yarn, just like we did in this bottom section here. Put it on your hook, hold it with your fingers so it's not loose, pull it through like this, and still hold the other side here with your finger. And your first stitch is going to be a decrease. So what you're going to do is merge the next 2 stitches into one, like this. And then make sure this last loop here is tight, so just pull onto the yarn and hold it. Now after you're done with your decrease, you will do 6 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You will have one last stitch here that you haven't worked on. This will be an increase. So 2 single crochet in the same stitch. So 1 single crochet and then a second single crochet in the exact same stitch. And this is your row number 1 for part 3. So just before we move on, just like we did at the bottom here, insert your hook in the next stitch here to pull the yarn back like this. And then you can just try to do a little knot again, just like we did at the bottom. Make sure there's a little loop. You can work your loop to make the knot here and insert the yarn in the loop, just like this. All right, so moving on to row 2 of part 3, we will chain 1 just like we always do in between each row. Turn your project around, work 7 single crochet, and then we're doing a decrease. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now the last stitch is going to be a decrease, so merge your next 2 stitches together. So this is your row 2. Chain 1, turn your project around. For row 3 and 4, very easy, 8 single crochet in each row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's row 3. Chain 1, turn your project around, work 8 single crochet on row 4. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is row 4. Row 5, we will chain 1, turn your project around. You will do 1 increase in the first stitch, so 2 single crochet in the exact same stitch. And for the rest of the row, you will do 7 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that is basically row 5. Chain 1, turn your project around. We will do 8 single crochet as a start. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now you have a last stitch here at the end of this little portion here. Do an increase, so 2 single crochet in the same stitch. So 1 and 2. And now we're basically wanting to join this right portion with the left, just like we did here. So how do we do that? Very simple. We chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this will be enough for us to merge to this section here. And then we will do 8 single crochet on this left portion here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is end of row 6. So chain 1, turn your project around. Row 7, very simple. We're doing 22 single crochet on the entire row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when you arrive at the chain, just like you did at the bottom, make sure you do 1 single crochet in each chain here. So you have 4 chains, you should have 4 single crochet for the chains. So after your 4 chains and 8 stitches here, you have 12 single crochet. So then you just keep going on the next side here. So 13 single crochet, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22 single crochet for row number 7. Now for row 8, chain 1, turn your project around. The first stitch will be a decrease, so what you're going to do, merge the first 2 stitches together. So just like this. This is a decrease. Now for the remaining of the row, you will do 20 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So go ahead to do the remaining 20 single crochet for this row 8, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. So I'm at my last stitch of row 8 here, my last single crochet of the row. Now you will chain 1, turn your project around. For row 9, super simple, do 21 single crochet, 1 single crochet in each stitch. So 1, 2. Now simply just go ahead, finish the row of 1 single crochet in each stitch, and then I'll meet you back at the end of the row here. So I'm at the end of my row 9. I'm doing my last single crochet here. Now we would chain 1, turn the project around for row 10. So the first stitch of row 10, we're going to do a decrease, so merge the first 2 stitch together like this, and then the next stitches for the row is going to be 19 single crochet. So go ahead, work your 19 single crochet for your row 10 here, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. So I'm at my last stitch of row 10 here, my single crochet. Once you're done, chain 1, turn your project around. For row 11, we're going to start with 18 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So you will notice at the end of row 11 there's 2 stitches unworked, so this is going to be a decrease. So merge the last 2 stitches together. Now you're done with row 11. Chain 1, turn your project around. The first stitch is going to be a decrease, so merge your first two stitches together to do the decrease. And for the remainder of the row is simply 17 single crochet. So go ahead and work your 17 single crochet, and I'll meet you at the end of this row here. On my last stitch of row 12 here, my last single crochet. So chain 1, and we're going to be at the last row of this letter B here. So the last row, row 13, what you're going to do, very simple, start with 16 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and this last two stitches is going to be a decrease. So merge your last two stitches together, and this is the last row that we're working on. So after you've done this, go ahead and cut the yarn. So now we have the two sides. I mean, you need to work two of these bees so that we can basically put them together like this. So if you haven't done two of these yet, just work another bee, and then the next step is to merge them, kind of like doing single crochet on the edges so we can merge them together. So what I like to do is doing the insides first, so these little holes, basically merging them together, and then I work on the outer edge here. So what I usually do is align your project like this, make sure it's perfectly aligned, and I just like to start in a corner here. So insert your hook in the corner of both bees aligned like this. So if you can see here, my hook is going through both bees here. So again, I will hold the yarn with my hand and then just use the hook to bring the yarn through the pieces of the bee here like this. Now it's important that you make sure that your hand is on this tail end here so that it's not loose. And then the working yarn that's attached to your ball of yarn here, bring it forward so that you can work using this. So my finger here is holding the tail end while I have the tension placed on the other piece. And what you're going to do is simply single crochet all around this next stitches to merge the pieces together. So do those single crochet all around. So there's not really like the right or wrong way to do this, and I always say this, just make sure that it's perfectly aligned. So inserting your hook in the next holes or stitches that feel good for your hook, as long as it's aligned, you're basically sewing everything together with single crochets. So keep doing this all around for this middle portion here, and I'll meet you back here. So I'm at my inner corner here with basically my last single crochet, merging everything together. Now before I cut my yarn here, just do a last slip stitch just to secure everything. So inserting your hook in the next stitch, pull the yarn through the stitch and also through the loop on the hook here. Now you will just cut the yarn, pull the yarn through like this, and then I will just use my crochet hook to kind of move the yarn inside the project like this. So this is your bottom section of this belly B here. Now do the same with the upper section here. So I like to start in the corners and just do the exact same thing we just did. Once you're done with this upper section here, do a slip stitch like we did at the bottom. Then cut your yarn. Pull onto the yarn to secure everything. And again, use your hook to bring the piece of yarn inside like this. So you might have pieces of yarn that's still sticking outside. Just make sure you use your crochet hook to bring everything inside. Then we will start on the outer edge, basically. So what I like usually do is start on the edges here and just go all the way around. So this is going to be way easier than doing the middle section. So again, insert your hook on the edge here, take your yarn, bring the yarn through. Just have your finger on this tail end here so that it's secured here, and just start doing single crochet all around, basically, just like this. So work your way all around the letter B. Usually when I do this section and here, I start stuffing the middle portion. So make sure you don't sew everything together without stuffing your letter B. So use fiber fill, yarn scrap, or anything you have for the filling. And then I'll meet you back at the very end. So as you can see here, I'm almost at the end of my single crochet over the edges to shut my B, and I made sure that everything is properly filled with stuffing. And when you reach the end here, just make sure that you fully shut the project, especially that it meets the beginning section where we started here. So I just like to do a few extra stitch, and when I'm done I do a slip stitch like usual, and then I cut my yarn, pull the yarn through, and here is when I use my yarn needle. Just make sure that the yarn pieces are properly secured. So I just like to do small knots. And then I put my yarn inside my project, coming out the back here. I do this a couple times, like this. And when I'm satisfied, I just cut the yarn. And I just do the same with the other piece. And just like that, you have completed the 3D letter B. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. I will see you soon for more tutorials. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.